Hey there, it's Christina Louise. Welcome back to Parenting for a Peaceful Home. And today I've decided to create a very special training based on some of the feedback that I've received from you in the Facebook group and in your emails and during our chats over the phone. So today we're going to talk about what to do when you don't know what else to do. When you've tried bargaining and negotiating and pleading and yelling and being soft and literally nothing is working. The chores aren't done, the kid's not going to school, they're still acting out, you're not getting your needs met, you're stressed out, overwhelmed, and frustrated, and you've literally had it up to here. I hear you, and I am here to help you with that. And the solution is actually a lot simpler than you think it might be. So I'm excited to dive in with you about that today. And we're going to break this up into 3 parts so that it's easy for you to digest and you can take your time with it over the next few days. And I want you to stay tuned because at the end, I have an amazing free gift to offer you. All right, so here in part 1, we're going to just talk about, I want to help you accept the past and accept where you are right now. I know that as a parent, it's a very unique relationship, and you've got other parents around and you've got these images on television that tell you like who you should be and who you shouldn't be and what's normal and what's not normal. And I want to let you know that I create a safe place for everybody that I come into contact with. So what that means is that you can always feel free to express yourself naturally when you're with me. So when we're working together and you're listening to my trainings, I want you to be open to the idea that it's okay to be as you are. Meaning, if you're feeling angry, that's okay. If you're feeling like, even worse than angry, that's okay. If you're feeling confused, that's okay. We have to start exactly where you are in order to get you to where you want to be, right? So if we're on a map and we want to get to California, there's really no right or wrong way to get to California, right? It all depends on where you are right now. So for instance, if you're in China, I think you would go east. And if you're in New York, you would go west, right? So remember that there is no chalkboard in the sky that says this is the right way. And I think that's where a lot of parents get tripped up, is they try to take on these cookie cutter strategies and these cookie cutter techniques, and we get bogged down into, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? And then we get so overwhelmed that we end up losing our temper, yelling, screaming, or maybe punishing the child. And then we feel bad about it later, and we don't know what to do with that guilt. So then we try to shove it back down, and then the whole pattern starts all over again. And I'm here to help you break free of that cycle so that you can have the peace and the joy and the love and the contentment and the laughs and the hugs and the cuddles and the quality time that you want to have with your child. But remember, it starts with you being honest, maybe not in front of your child, but at least being honest with yourself and maybe somebody like me about exactly where you are right now. So this is an opportunity for you to unpack a little bit, take the gloves off, take the mask off, stop trying to be that perfect parent, and just come into an acceptance of where you are right now and not blame yourself or condemn yourself or punish yourself or berate yourself or talk negatively to yourself because you're feeling angry with your child or because you're feeling frustrated and overwhelmed and you don't know what else to do. It is totally okay. And as soon as you acknowledge that and make the choice to accept it, right? You might not be able to accept it in the next 2 minutes, but you can make a choice right now to give yourself permission to tell yourself the truth about where you are. Are you frustrated? If you are, write that down. Are you angry with yourself, with your child, with your spouse, with the world, with God? That's okay. Write that down. Are you disappointed? Are you feeling guilty or ashamed? Identify your feelings. Create safe spaces for yourself, like the one you have here with me. or perhaps in your bathtub or in your car. Create safe places where, at least for a couple of moments a day, you can just get really honest with yourself about exactly what you're feeling. I promise you, and we'll learn later, this is the key to your success. This is where your path to a peaceful home really starts. Okay, so that was part one. And now we're in part two. And in part two, we're going to talk about what to do when you don't know what else to do. Okay, so you've tried negotiating, you've tried bargaining, you've tried strategizing, you've tried begging, you've tried pleading, you've tried raising your voice, lowering your voice, different types of punishments, and nothing else is working. And the first thing that I want to say is, wow, I have so much compassion for you, and I honor you for showing up and continuing to invest your time and your energy in educating yourself in this arena. You are doing such an important job as a parent. No matter what mistakes you think you've made, you have done the world a huge service. You've done your child a huge service, and it's good enough. Just be open to accepting that it's good enough. That right now, mistakes and all, flaws and all, you have done your best with the information that you had in every single moment. You did your best. And if there's any guilt or any shame coming up, I'm here to help you process and release that so you can come back into a feeling of security and peace with yourself. And this way you can parent your child in that way too. So a lot of parents ask me, what do I do? I don't know what to do. And today I'm going to enlighten you to the idea that that might not be the best next question for you, okay? Because life, let's take a step back here and just explore this for a moment. Life is not really so much about what you do or you don't do. It's even more about the energy in which you take every action with. So when somebody comes and says that they love you or thank you, is it the person speaking the words, or is it the tone in their voice or the eye contact, or just that feeling you get when you hear the words from that specific person that makes all the difference? There's a specific mom coming to my mind right now that I started working with a few months ago, and she said, I just wish my kids would appreciate me. And I said, do your kids never say thank you? And she said, yeah, they do, but it's, thanks, or it doesn't feel meaningful to me. Okay, so is it that you want your kids to say thank you, or you actually want to feel their gratitude? See, it's the feeling behind the words. It's the energy or the feeling behind your actions that create the results that you're seeing in your life. Okay, so here's another really good example of that. If I close a door, right, I can close that door very gently, very sweetly, very consciously, lovingly close the door, or I can slam the door. In both cases, all I've done is take one action. I've closed a door. That's all I did. But the energy, the feelings, the motivation for closing the door is what makes the difference, right? If I close it with gentleness and love and peace, it might not make a huge difference in the world. But if I close it with anger or guilt or shame or fear, it's going to reverberate, right, through the room, and it might cause some other people to start feeling a little anxious or overwhelmed, right? So I want to help you explore the next best question for you to be asking. So if you're overwhelmed with your child, if your child is not producing the type of if your relationship with your child is not producing the type of results that you want, if they're not cleaning up, if they're not listening to you, if you feel like there's a lack of respect there, and you're trying to change your actions without addressing the energy or the feelings that you have inside your body, you're never going to get the results that you're seeking. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong with your child. But the world has, not but, and the world has kind of taught you backwards, all right? When we were growing up, we were taught that our feelings, a lot of us were taught that our feelings don't matter, right? We were told to be a big girl or be a big boy and don't cry and get over it and shove it down. And that's just the way life is. And so we learned to perform to receive approval from our authority members, and we learned to negate the way that we feel inside. And you're not a human. A lot of you have heard this before. You're not a human doing. You're a human being. And how you be, how you feel, moment to moment throughout your day fuels your actions. So if you take away your child's toy in anger, chances are eventually you're going to start to feel guilty because you know you don't want to be angry. You know you don't want to punish your child. You know your child somewhere deep down is doing the best that he or she can in that moment, and you're empathetic. So I hear that from a lot from parents. I take away the phone or I take away the toy and then I feel guilty. So now you got two problems, right? The kid's misbehaving. You don't know what to do. Now you've taken away the toy and you want to give it back, but you can't because you already, now you lose the power in the situation. I totally understand how you feel, and I'm here to give you the way out. But the way out starts with you taking your attention temporarily off of the outside circumstances and start to put it on you. Because frankly, if you're watching this video, you're the most responsible, conscious person in your family. You're probably a mom. You're probably doing it all. And as that feminine figurehead in your family, the feminine is the feeling energy. The feminine is the receptive, intuitive, feeling part of life. It's the masculine that drives and takes action. But remember, it's the energy that we infuse into our actions that make all the difference, right? So in my opinion, no offense to you men watching, but the women or the more feminine partner in your relationship is really the leader. And that's why we say happy wife, happy life. Because if her energy is good and she's feeling good and she's investing in her hobbies and she's taking time for herself and she's feeling full, then she can give and nurture and care for and encourage and support the children and her partner. And then the family functions really well together, right? So I know that the world has taught us the opposite of all of this, but look at the world's results. We see kids killing each other. We see school shootings. We see war all over the place, disease, people dying of poverty. And it's crazy out there. And I feel like it's because people are doing things out of order. Okay, so taking action, I'm all for it. Like, you've got to take action with your children and in your life and in your job and in your relationships. But I'm here to open your mind up to the idea that your energy or your feeling is what fuels your action. And so your feeling plus your action equals your results. So you might be doing all the right things and saying all the right things to your kid, but if you're not making that connection, if they're not listening, valuing, and respecting you, it's time to check your energy. And for most of us growing up, we shoved a lot of energy, toxic energy like guilt and shame and anger and fear. We shoved it down, and we had to shove it down in order to survive and get the approval and the attention and the respect from our authority figures. And now as an adult, your kid is going to reflect back to you all of those unmet needs. So if you didn't feel respected, heard, and valued growing up, your kid might reflect back to you your unmet need for being heard and respected and valued. And here's your way out of that cycle. You start listening to yourself. You start making time to show up to a training like this or a free call with me and actually start to unpack some of these feelings and get them out of your system. Because your natural state, how you were born, look at how your children were born. They were born in love. They were born with a smile on their face. They're happy for no reason, right? They don't have bank accounts. They don't have jobs. They don't have partners. They don't come out knowing that anybody's going to love them. And yet, in their natural state, as long as they're warm, and well fed, they're joyful. They're so happy. They're drooling on themselves. And I'm here to tell you today that that's who you are too. Underneath all the crap you've been through, underneath the idea that you're not good enough or that you're not valued or you're not respected or no matter how hard I try, nothing's good enough for this world, underneath all those guilts, those shames, those doubts, those insecurities, those disappointments that you've experienced in your life, you are still that shining, bright, joyful, peaceful, loving being. And I'm here to help you do the inner work to help you uncover who you really are so that moment to moment throughout your parenting experience, you know how to digest and process your own emotions, get your needs met in healthy ways so that even if your kid is throwing a temper tantrum, you can still feel centered and grounded and know the perfect thing to say at the perfect time to make that authentic connection with your child and enjoy the fruitful, expansive, growing, peaceful, content relationship that you intend to have with your child. So that's it for part 2. Take a deep breath. We've talked a lot, and I'll see you in just a few moments for part 3. All right, so we're back for part 3. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with me. This is pretty deep stuff, but it is the way for you to establish that peaceful, joyful, content, loving relationship that you want, not only between you and your child, but between you and your partners, you and your coworkers, you and the world. This really is the way, and it always, always, always starts with you. And again, it's not about doing the right thing or saying the right thing. Yes, strategy is a part of it, but that's the easy part. You can learn that, right? We've got to deal with the guilt and the shames and the fear and the disappointment and the anxiety that you're feeling, perhaps about your finances or about your romantic world or about the health in your body, right? So all of that will come up to the surface when your child is not doing something that you want them to do. When you become triggered, whatever is inside of you, the stuff that you're not thinking about, that you've packed down, that you've put away for later, it's all going to come back up. So the problem and the reason why we get so upset sometimes, even though we're trying really hard not to be upset with our children or with other people, is because you're not just dealing with that disappointment of your child not doing their chores or their child not paying attention to you when you're talking to them. You're not just dealing with that one thing. You're dealing with that and all the disappointment and the anger that you feel from anybody else in your life that you haven't forgiven yet for treating you the same way. I hope this is making sense for you. And again, at the end of this session, I'm going to give you a free gift to help you start to put these pieces together in your own life so you can start creating that peace in your heart, peace in your body, peace in your home, and your children start reflecting that back to you. And that's when family gets really fun and time feels like it doesn't exist. And you're just waking up every morning looking forward again to parenting your child and the new experiences that you two can have together. And I'm so excited for you, and I'm so excited to be a part of your journey. All right, so I want you to write this down. And if you don't have a pen and piece of paper, just put me on pause and go and get one. All right, so now you're back and you have your pen and piece of paper, and I'm going to show you the true process of creating anything you want in your life. And for today's purposes, we're talking about creating peace in your relationship with your child, right? But really, you can use this formula, you can use this process to create anything, especially peace. Okay? So the true process of creation is be, B-E, do, D-O, have, H-A-V-E. And like I said in session 2, the world taught us out of order, right? The world taught us once you have your child doing what you say, then you can do your taxes and you'll have more money, right? Once you have it, then you can do it, then you can be. Doesn't ever work that way. Promise you, I've tried it myself, and you have too. They also tell us do the right thing, say the right thing, you know, and then you'll have your child listening to you, and then you'll be able to relax. Then you'll be able to be happy. Then you'll be able to have freedom in your life. Everything, like in chemistry or cooking or gardening or even cleaning your home, has to be in a proper order, right? So if you want to clean your living room and you've got a ceiling fan in there, you got to clean the ceiling fan first before you clean the floor, right? Otherwise you're doing the same job twice. Does that make sense? So does it make sense to you now that things need to be put, you can have the proper ingredients to any recipe, but if you don't put them in the proper order, your cake's not going to come out the way you want it to, all right? So chances are you are doing and saying all the right things, but you're missing the first step. And the first step and the most important question that you can ever ask yourself is, how am I feeling right now? And I'm here to give you permission and encourage you that if you're not feeling joyful, peaceful, loving, and you take an action with your child or anything else in life, you can't get peace if you're at war with yourself. You can't get happiness by being upset, right? Fire plus fire equals fire. So if your kid's on fire and they're overwhelmed and they're frustrated and they're pissed off and they're being resistant, and that triggers your anger and your disappointment and your guilt or your fear, what's going to happen? This. And it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's not that they're doing anything wrong. You're missing the proper order. So write it down, proper order, and we're going to give it a try. And we're going to see how your results change. And I can't wait for you to see, because you're going to love it. So the proper order here is be first. How are we being? Okay, write this down. Being is how you're feeling. It's your energy level. It's your feeling. All right, it's your feminine energy. Everybody has both feminine and masculine energy within them. We're feeling, thinking, doing beings. All right, so what we want is a really good balance. And the feminine always feeds into the masculine action. All right, if you have any questions about this, just let me know. And you're gonna like the free gift that I have, because you'll be able to ask all the questions that you want. So just hang in there. The being is the feeling, it's the feminine. And the doing is your action. That's your masculine. So the being plus the doing equals what you're having. Are you having peace? It depends on how you started. If you start with peace, joy, and love, if you start with a neutral energy and you take an action, you say something or you do something with your child from that place, your results are going to change. And even if the kid doesn't change their behavior right away, and you go back to how you're feeling, and you know how to process and release the guilt, the shame, and you're at peace, does it really matter if your child didn't do the dishes? Does it really matter if they're not right this red hot minute doing what you tell them to do? Or is it the feeling that it's causing in you when they don't do what you tell them to do? So I'm being reminded of a mom that I talked to the other day. She said, my kid, I ask her all the time to wash the dishes and turn the lights out. And every day the dishes aren't done and every light's on in the house. And I feel like the more I ask, the worse it gets. Okay? Is it that the lights are on that's really your big problem? Or is it the fear that you're not going to have enough money to take care of yourself and your kids, perhaps? Or is it that you're not feeling respected or valued or loved or appreciated, and that makes you feel angry and upset and worthless? It's really never the outer circumstances that are causing our pain. Now, granted, if somebody's punching you in the head, yes, somebody's causing you pain, all right? But short of that or being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, right? Dishes in the sink do not have any power over you. It's what those dishes in the sink represent to you. And only you get to decide what those dishes in the sink mean to you. So a really good question I would like you to write down, and I would really like to see you put it up on your wall as a reminder for yourself and your children, because once we teach you how to process and release your icky emotions, you're going to be able to teach your children how to process and release their icky emotions. And now this becomes this. And it's so beautiful, the bonds and the intimacy and the love that can flow between two human beings that aren't all bogged down by their emotions. It's the parenting experience. It's the reason you had kids. It's the reason that you had kids, and you just got a little misinformation from the world. And I'm here to help you correct that and to be open to it and to just experiment with me today, okay? So the one thing I would really like for you to have on your wall as a reminder for yourself is this question: what am I making this mean? So if your kid left dishes in the sink and you told them to pick it up, but they refused to pick it up, what are you making it mean? Examples could be, I'm making it mean that they don't love me. I'm making it mean that they don't respect me. I'm making it mean that I didn't do a good enough job communicating. Or you could be making it mean that there's something wrong with your kid. I'm going to give you the cheat sheet, okay? And we can play around with this. And you can experiment and challenge me about anything that I'm saying to you right now. Trust me, I did myself the first few years when I received this information too. But I've experimented with it for so long in so many different types of scenarios, and my clients all over the world have been using it for years and experimenting with it, and we all know this to be true. When a human being becomes upset about anything, it's always for one of three reasons. And I just want you to be open to this. You're either making that thing that's upsetting you mean that you're not loved, that you're not wanted, or that you're not good enough. Or that the other person isn't loved, wanted, or good enough, if there's another person involved. So let's put this into an example so that it's easier. So I met a woman once who said, this doesn't make sense to me. I'm upset because my partner left me, and that's why I'm upset. And I said to her very gently, because I have so much compassion and empathy, okay? Is it the fact that somebody was in your life today and is it that somebody came into your life and left your life that's really upsetting you? And she said, oh yeah, that's why. And I said, sweetheart, people leave and come and go in and out of your life all day long, every day for years. You only become upset about certain people coming and going in certain ways. So it's not your partner leaving that's causing you pain, it's what you're making it mean. What are you making it mean? Well, I'm making it mean he's an a-hole. Okay, so now you're judging him, right, as not good enough. That's not gonna make you feel good. Because at the end of the day, you know you love him and you know he's a good person, and on some level, he's doing the best that he can with the information that he has, right? Are you following me here? Whenever you judge yourself or other people, including your child, as not good enough or not loved or not wanted, you're always gonna feel deceased. You lose your connection to your truth. And that's what hurts. Just be open to this and try it out this week. Just notice when you become upset and ask yourself this question: what am I making this mean? And you've got to kind of follow it down a little bit sometimes. So in that example that I used before, I'm making it mean that he's a jerk, or I'm making it mean that he left me because I did something wrong. Do you see? Like, you got to kind of follow it down. Keep asking yourself, well, he's a jerk. What does that mean? And then you'll get down, and you're always, I promise you, as you experiment with this week, it's always going to come down to the same three answers: not love, not wanted, not good enough. Now, why does this hurt? Because it's not true. You are so loved. I don't know what your spiritual beliefs are, but we live in 2017, where the Nobel Prize winning scientist Max Planck accepted the Nobel Prize 10 years ago. And I'm quoting him here. He said, "After 40 years of intensive research into the nature of the universe, I know one thing for sure. There is a conscious mind behind this all." So whether you call that divine consciousness God or the universe or spirit or source, doesn't matter. Whether you call it your higher self or your inner being, doesn't matter. That consciousness is always telling you the truth about who you are and about everything going on in your life. And it is always sending you the same message: you are doing great, you are loved, you are enough, we want you, your life has a purpose, it's going to be okay. And anytime your mind disagrees with that truth, your body experiences anger and pain and illnesses and guilt and shame, and financial difficulties pop up because of this misalignment with our truth, right? We always make more money when we're aligned with our truth and we're feeling good. We always have a better time at parties when we're feeling good and secure and confident, when we know the truth of our beauty and our wellness, right? Play with these ideas, be open to them. And if you like what I've been teaching you so far, I have a great next step for you. It's a free gift from me to you. I am excited to talk with you more about this information. I am excited to help you make sense of it. I'm excited to help you implement it into your life so you experience more grace and more ease in your relationships with your children, relationships with your partners, coworkers, with your money, your health, and your relationships all over the world. So as a part of my free gift today, I'm going to give you an opportunity to enlist my coaching services at no charge. All you have to do is click the link below this video, answer a couple of short questions, and apply for a free 45-minute coaching session with me, in which we will answer all of your questions, find out where your pain points are, and come up with a plan for you to heal them from the inside out, so that naturally you have more peace between you and your child, and everywhere in your life. So if you want an opportunity to speak with me and receive some one-on-one private time with me, just go ahead, click the link below this video or back in the email that you received this video with, and I'll review your application. And I'm sure in no time, we'll be talking about your plan for creating peace in your home. I love you. You are wanted, loved, and good enough. I'm here to remind you of that at any time. And I look forward to speaking with you during your free Peaceful Parenting session. Just click the link below this video and I'll talk to you soon.